Thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. The first 500 people to click on the link in the description below get 2 months of Skillshare Premium free. So a few weeks ago, my girlfriend asked me if I could help her shoot a cinematic sequence of her putting on makeup for one of her YouTube videos. She said she wanted to make a cool little intro with a golden hour theme, but she didn't want it heavily edited. So my goal was essentially to capture this footage of a mundane task like putting on makeup and give it some life and character and make it pop, all in camera without just loading up the video with a bunch of effects and transitions. And that is exactly what gave me the idea for this tutorial, and you've already seen the end result, so let's get into 5 ways you can make your videos pop. If the main light source for your video is going to be the sun, then what time of day you choose to shoot your sequence will have a huge effect on the overall look and feel of your video. Because we were going for a golden hour theme, it only made sense to shoot the video during golden hour, which is when the sun was getting nice and low, giving off that warm, soft light. And capturing your footage during golden hour is a surefire way to make your footage look more powerful because everything is more saturated and dramatic. You won't have these harsh shadows or blown out skin tones that you would typically get if you were shooting at high noon during the day. But this leads us to our next tip, which is to capture some of your footage shooting directly into your light source. Shooting directly into your light source can actually do a few things to enhance your footage, like creating silhouettes or adding lens flares, or even adding this overall cinematic haziness to your shot. And you probably don't want to shoot your whole video like this, but it is an easy little hack to get some more interesting shots that you can sprinkle throughout your edit. But this leads us into our third way to make your videos pop, and that is to experiment with gear that maybe you wouldn't normally use. For my entire sequence, I actually used this vintage Helios 58mm lens, and it has these really interesting little aperture blades that give off a unique bokeh effect. And you might have noticed that in some of the shots, it actually looks like the background is swirling. And to give the video even more character, I paired the lens with this anamorphic filter. This filter actually does 2 things. The first being it transforms your bokeh into that stretched oval shape, and you may have noticed this little thread, and the reason for that little thread is to refract light into horizontal lens flares. And if you pair this combo with our previous technique of shooting into the light source, then you can get a lot of really interesting, creative looking shots that make people wonder how you even did it. But you don't necessarily have to go and drop a whole bunch of cash on a lens or a filter to get these interesting looking shots. You can actually use cheaper items like this prism to add character and get a unique look to your footage. But moving on to our 4th tip, we're going to want to pay more attention to color and how we can manipulate color to make our subject stand out. You may have noticed that both our subject and the collection of makeup products are pink. If we look at a color wheel, you can see that pink falls directly between teal and orange. So naturally, anything that is pink will stand out in a scene where there are a lot of teal and orange tones. Because of this, I made sure to add objects into the frame to introduce teal and orange colors to the shot, and then I used my Sandfield LUT pack to color grade the footage. Sandfield comes with 5 teal and orange color grades for both log and non-log footage, and for this particular sequence I chose Sandfield Mild. Our 5th and final tip to make your videos pop is to use foreground. I actually just put out a video dedicated to foreground, so feel free to check that out, but the idea is that you want to introduce foreground into your shots to enhance the camera movement and context in your story. And after applying all of these tips and doing a little bit of editing, here is the final result. As a content creator, I'm always looking for new inspiration to help me step up my knowledge and creativity. Lately, I've been binge watching this indie filmmaking course by Nguyen and Nguyen on Skillshare, where he talks about getting that blockbuster look on a DIY budget. If you're not already familiar with Skillshare, it's essentially an online learning community for creators with thousands of creative, business, lifestyle, and technology classes. With a premium membership, you get unlimited access to high-quality classes from experts who cover topics such as shooting vlogs, wedding films, documentaries, and low-budget filmmaking, all for less than $10 a month. And the first 500 people to click on that link in the description will get 2 months of Skillshare Premium free. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Follow me on Instagram at daniel.schiffer, and as always, I hope you have a beautiful evening.